Hey guys, it's your girl Kiki. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I want to start off by saying thank you guys for all the love, the support, the shares. I'm truly great. This video, I'm gonna be using my iPad like OD because I have so much information to tell y'all. I'm gonna talk about who's my doctor in this video. I'm gonna mention how much did I pay, how did I even get my quote with him, how did I go about booking, how was my consultation with him, how did I feel about, his clinic, him as a doctor, and yeah, stay tuned guys. So this video is gonna be way longer than the first video. I have a lot of information to share with you guys. I actually sat my butt down because it's about to get real. So the moment you have all been waiting for, who's my doctor? Drum roll please. So my doctor is Julio Molina Suarez. So this is his Instagram. His Instagram is Dr. J Molina S. He is located in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. You guys should definitely check his page out. Look at his before and afters. This is one of my favorites. Well, I have a lot of favorites. But he definitely has amazing work. He is super educated, super knowledgeable about what he's doing. I believe he has about 13 years or even more of experience. If you guys go to his page, you guys could check his series out. He does lives almost every week. They're very informative. I definitely looked over them before I got surgery. Whether he's your doctor or not, I highly recommend that you watch his videos, especially this one. It's about vaser lipo and any questions that you guys may have. So when I first reached Molina, I actually went to his Instagram. I went into his bio. In his bio, he has a link. It directs you to a Google Docs form. That form is like basically a questionnaire. It asks you for basic information like your name, your age, your height, your weight. It asks you any like underlying health conditions that you may have, all that good stuff. Once I sent that in, I then received an email like the next day asking me for pictures of my body, front, sideways, and back. And of course, they had to be naked. Now, of course, I'm blurring out my private parts. Like, he don't need to see all that through pictures. He's about to see it in surgery, in the OR. So, I blurred out mine. Then, within 2 days of me sending the picture, he basically tells me, like, that my BMI is over 30. My BMI... Well, your BMI is basically your body mass index. Being over 30 does mean that you're obese, even though you may not look obese, but you get me. So he told me, like, you need to lose some weight, and in the case that you do, just let me know, and I'll give you a quote. So I told him, like, yes, I plan on losing weight. Give me my quote. So Molina told me that for full body lipo and BBL, without vaser, my total is $4,350. If I wanted vaser, it will be an additional $500. Now, keep in mind, guys, that the quote that he did give me is not going to be the same quote that he gives you. That's whether you do your body with him or with another doctor. These quotes are case by case, and it's different for everybody. Then I told them, like, what if I want to do my chin lipo? So chin lipo was an additional $200, but I think it came out to $300 more because I did vaser chin lipo. So in total, I really spent $5,250 just on surgery. That $5,250 included my deposit of $300, my COVID-19 test, my blood and urine analysis, my electrocardiogram, my note by the cardiologist, my note by the anesthesiologist, my faja, medicine for when I'm discharged, medical fees, surgery room, interment for 24 hours, everything used in the clinic. It also covered medical insurance, any blood transfusions that I may need, and also all of my post-op checkups. He then sent me this list of instructions before surgery so that I could have the best possible results. This is another list that he has sent me of important stuff to keep in mind of before surgery. Last but not least, here he made some suggestions of some of the things that I should bring for surgery. However, I'm going to be making a separate video of the things that I did find necessary and essential for surgery. So finally, November comes. It's November 1st. I'm out heading to the DR. And the 2nd, I had my consult. The 4th, I was getting surgery. I actually was supposed to get surgery the 6th, but my surgery got moved up due to some party they were gonna have on the 6th or something like that. I didn't give a fuck. Like, a bitch was about to be snatched. So I got to DR the 1st. I went to my consult the 2nd. I was super duper late to my consult. I was like 4 hours late to my consult. Like, Gladys, Molina's assistant, actually texted me like, hey, like, are you even coming? And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm just stuck in traffic. So when I finally got to the clinic, first of all, super outdated. Like, the clinic definitely could use some modernization. Second of all, I'm glad I was late. I'm glad I was late. I would have been dumb tight if I wasn't late. So I got to the clinic. They made me fill out like a regular form with basic information, my name, my age. They then take a photocopy of my ID. So I'm just sitting in the waiting room, chilling with my grandma, because my grandma went with me. And I'm just there, like, waiting and waiting. Supposedly, I'm waiting to do all my testing, but I don't see that they're calling anybody else. They're not calling me. So I go up to the nurse and I ask her, like, hey, like, when am I going to go for testing? And she's like, oh, so unfortunately, the doctor hasn't arrived yet. Hence, you haven't gotten your testing done. I'm like, the doctor hasn't arrived yet. But I'm the one who's 4 hours late. What do you mean the doctor has not arrived yet? Like, at what time is he coming? So she's like, oh, I'm sorry, it was an emergency, blah, blah, blah. Dominicans and they lies. I'm Dominican, but we be lying. So I had to wait for the doctor, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, another 2 hours passed by. I'm like, yo, like, still? Like, is there another doctor who could see me? She was like, well, if you want, you can go do your EKG until you wait for the doctor who's going to take your blood, urine, all that to come. I'm like, all right, let me kill time. So I go, I do my EKG. First of all, the doctor who does my EKG blew mine. Like, me and him was not vibing. As soon as I come in, he's like looking at me sideways, I guess because I'm young. Then he's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 19. He's like, what are you getting done? I'm like, I'm doing a lipo and a BBL. He was like, well, I think you're a bit young to be doing surgery. Like, you're only 19. You should wait until your body develops, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I wasn't trying to hear it. I could care less about what he had to say. Like, I was not trying to hear it. He's not the one paying for my surgery. He's not the one who's doing the surgery. Like, it's my body. Mind your business. So, whatever. He does my EKG. He's like, all right, you're good. Like, everything came out good. I'm like, thanks. And I bounced. Like, I wasn't feeling him. I wasn't feeling his vibe. I didn't like his input. He needed to mind his business. Then I go outside. I wait like another hour. And I'm impatient now. Like, at this point, I'm impatient. I have to pee, and I'm trying to hold it because I want to pee on the cup, you know. And I'm like, all right. I go to the nurse. I'm like, hey, like, I need to use the bathroom. Like, can I go pee in the cup now so that when the doctor comes, it's ready? Like, I don't have to worry about it. She's like, yeah, whatever. She gave me my cup. I go, I pee in the cup. Thankfully, when I come out, the doctor gets there. I'm like, hallelujah. So the doctor gets there. Because I had already peed in the cup, I was the first one that he seen. Thankfully, I was the first one he seen. He took my blood and everything. And I say thankfully I'm the first one because after, like, he did a couple of girls, I hear the girls complaining that he didn't change his gloves when he was taking all of our blood, that he, you know, wouldn't sanitize the area. I don't know about them. But what had that been me, I would have told that doctor, excuse me, sir, change your gloves. Excuse me, sir, I'm gonna need you to sanitize. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And not only that, but you're dealing with different bodies, different, you know, specimens, I guess. Like, change your gloves, bro. So I thank God that I was the first one. I got my blood taken. I got my urine taken, like, all that good stuff. I feel like my hair don't even look cute today. But, anywho, then once he does that, I finally get taken into a separate waiting room. Now, this separate waiting room is like the waiting room. This is Molina's waiting room. I only waited in that waiting room for like about 30 minutes until I finally went into Molina's office. And so my first impression on Molina was not a good one. I'm choking. Oop. I wouldn't say it wasn't a good one. It wasn't a bad one. It was weird. So when I first walk in, I walk in with my grandma, and I see that there's only one chair in front of Molina's desk. So there's another chair by the door, so I grab it and I move it close to the chair by Molina's desk so me and my grandma could sit together and talk to the doctor. Molina stops me. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't allow you to bring that chair over. Your grandma can sit over there. You can sit here. Due to the pandemic, I'm not even allowing anyone into my office who's over 60 years old. So your grandma's lucky that she's even in here. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, I didn't pay no mind to it, but I kind of felt like, damn, like, you could have been nicer about it, you know? Like, she just wants to sit here, support me, talk to you, ask you questions, you know, see what's about to happen. Whatever. I got over it. I didn't stay on the topic. My grandma sat by the door and I sat in front of his desk. So he, you know, introduces himself. I introduced myself. He basically asked me, what are you doing? I told him I'm on a lipo and a BBL and a chin lipo, obviously. He then tells me to, you know, take all my clothes off. He looks at me. He's like, okay, like, you look really good. What is your goal? Like, what do you want to look like? So I told him I want that slim, thick look. I showed him a couple pictures. I actually show you guys which pictures I showed him, just so that you guys can have an idea of what I'm going for, and etc. So I actually showed him pictures from his page. I showed him this picture. This is the exact picture I showed him. I said, if you can do this, we're fine. Like, I'll be happy as fuck. Now, as far as the butt, I was going for a, like, natural, but, like, not natural. I'm gonna show y'all the picture of the butt that I showed him. I actually showed him, couldn't even talk. I actually showed him Mulatto's picture. I love her butt. I think her butt is fire. So I told him this is what I want to look like. He said, okay, like, that's totally doable. He asked me if I had any questions, and I really didn't have questions. Like, I had already done all my research. I was already basically ready to go into it. But then things got tricky. I basically told him, like, hey, like, my family has always, you know, grew up around Jehovah's Witness beliefs, and one of their beliefs is that we are not allowed to get a blood transfusion. When I said that, I swear, like, the whole energy, the whole vibe, like, his face, everything dropped. It was dead. He had to take a moment. He literally took a moment, because I told him, if I were to need a blood transfusion and surgery, I am not authorizing you or giving you permission to give me a blood transfusion. So as soon as I said that, he had to take a moment. He took a moment. He got his shit together, and he was like, you know, I'm stuttering because this is how he was saying it. He was like, I don't know what to tell you, because, you know, if I'm able to save a person's life with a blood, how am I? No way. My little light just died. I'm gonna keep going because I'm in tune. So he was like, if I'm able to save someone's life, a patient's life, by giving them a blood transfusion, my duty as a doctor is to do so. So the fact that you're telling me this, I don't think, you know, that I am the best doctor or the fit doctor for you. So when he said that, I wasn't trying to hear it. That's not what I wanted to hear. I was like, no, like, in my head, I'm like, don't tell me that. Like, why can't you just agree? Whatever. So when he said that, I was like, but it's a religious thing. Like, you know, you have to work with my religion. He was like, all right, let me explain this to you. Let's say I operate a group of women, right? Out of that group of women, 99% of them do not need a blood transfusion. So it's a very small percentage that I give a blood transfusion to. It's a 1%. He was like, now that 1% is rare, obviously, but if it were to happen, like I just told you, my duty as a doctor is to give you a blood transfusion. So when he put it like that, I just took quiet. It was like a little quiet for a second, and I was like, all right, doc, listen up. Let me tell you one thing. First of all, I'm going to walk into that OR with God, and I'm going to walk out that OR with God. Meaning that I'm not going to need a blood transfusion. And because I'm doing vaser lipo, which is less invasive and you lose less blood, I'm going to be that 99% of women who don't need a blood transfusion. And as soon as I said that, he like froze. Like, he couldn't believe that, you know, I guess a young person was actually telling him, like, you know, I'm gonna be good. Like, I was so positive, I was so open-minded about it. And when I said that, his face, like, it brightened up automatically. He was like, oh, like, vamos para allá entonces, like, mi niña, vamos a operarte, like, you know, I love your answer. Because in reality, like, when you about to get surgery, you have to be open-minded. You have to be positive. So I told him, like, doctor, yo voy a entrar con Dios, yo voy a salir con Dios. And as soon as I said that, he was like, vamos para allá entonces. Like, we're going to operate you. You're going to be fine. You're going to be that percentage that doesn't need a blood transfusion. And, you know, like, he went on to explain to me more about vaser lipo that made me feel good, you know, like, made me feel like, what the fuck, what am I worried about a blood transfusion? Then I did have a concern. One of my concerns was going under anesthesia, like anesthesia. I don't know how to say it right. Was going under anesthesia. I have never been put under anesthesia before. Like, I have never gone under, so I was a bit scared. I told him that, and yo, after I spoke to him about that, I was not scared. Like, I didn't have not one concern. He basically told me that, you know, he does 2 ways of anesthesia. Half, half. Part of the anesthesia he puts through your hand, I guess, like through your vein. Then the other half, he does it through your back, I guess, like the epidural. So he basically explained to me, like, you know, when I put somebody under, well, when the anesthesiologist, y'all get me, when they put you under, it's basically like you're just going to sleep. He was like, you are conscious. Like, if I were to tap you, like, hey, Kiara, there's times where, you know, patients respond. There's times where patients wake up and they're like, hey, like, can you change the music? Can you put some bachata? Can you put some Romeo? So, I don't know, like, he went really in depth about how, you know, the anesthesia works. Because my doctor, that's one thing about him. You ask him something, he's going in depth about every little detail. So he really made me feel good. Like, I wasn't concerned about getting anesthesia anymore. The day of surgery, I went in like nothing. I was chilling like a villain. I wasn't scared. I wasn't nothing. Let me look over my iPad to see if I'm missing any other key points. Because I really didn't talk much, like, to my doctor, like, about questions, like, about, you know, when can I sit, none of that stuff. Like, I already knew all that stuff. I had already done all my research. Then basically, yada yada yada, I already told you all that. Yeah, I already told y'all that, because I'm the bomb. So yeah, basically after that, it was just now getting my surgery. But I'm not even gonna get into that, because y'all gonna have to wait for that video, because I need to keep y'all in tune. Surgery date, that's a whole other video. Like, how it felt before surgery, my thoughts, like, when I was in the OR, that's coming. But yeah, I really had a great experience with my doctor. Like, I highly recommend him. Please keep in mind that, you know, my experience might not be the same as yours, but I do recommend my doctor. I think he's super great. He's super informative. He knows what he's doing. Like, you want somebody who knows what he's doing and who actually takes, like, you know, pride and joy in their work. Like, you can tell that he enjoys what he's doing, because the way he talks to you, you can tell that he has passion. And I think that's super important. Like, the whole Molina team itself is great. Like, his team is bomb as fuck. Make sure y'all stay in tune. My next video will be about surgery day. How did that go? Things that I packed for surgery. How was it waking up? All that good stuff. So make sure y'all stay in tune.